we were at the local creek and we were testing out our mystery tackle box, and we casted out this spoon, and on the first cast on this spoon thing we had a fish on, which we lost by the shore. Ooh.
What's your channel? What do you put it on YouTube?
Yeah.
What's your channel?
Muskie Hans. I just do mostly fishing videos.
Muskie Hans. Yeah, I figured it was fishing videos.
Yeah.
You got a lot of subscribers?
Yeah,
or
like almost
yeah.
1,800.
Nice.
I'm trying to fish with this mystery lure box today.
Yeah? You got the pink pole, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's actually my girlfriend.
Do your thing, have fun, enjoy it. I'll look you up too, I'll start watching.
Spoon check. We got one of the baits off. A little spoon, and that's not a very big fish on the spoon. So it's time to change out baits. We better get a shot from our camera, which better be in here. Yeah, but our camera's right here. Some underwater shots. Do some spoon in action. This bait actually had a hit on the first cast, so we're going to change it up. Here's a nice brownie, and let's get some action. This is a trout. This better be a trout. We got a chub on the Kender's tungsten, a nice chub. Nice. Just floating a worm on bottom though. Cheating. I think we're gonna try some plastics on it rather. So we got two birds stoned at once. We got, oh, and it's another chub, of course. We got something on the Maida shrimp and the jig head, and it's a chub. Nice. So this fish was on the Kender's tungsten with the shrimp plastic, little John shrimp. So I got fish on 3 of the baits out of this box, and I lost a fish on that little white crankbait that came in the box. But then I just tested out the underwater footage of the rebel crayfish, I think, in this green swim bait that came in here, and then I gave up fishing with this box. I started using a spinner, and I caught 3 or 4 more fish besides what are on video once I stopped using MTB baits. So I think we know my usual baits are better than the MTB baits.
He's a nice brown. This might be an MTB keeper, but it's not on an MTB bait. It's doing some nice jumps. Nice little feisty brown. This is on a wish shap bait and not on an MTB bait. Or get him go. Let him go. Guess you know what to throw. Another nice brownie. On a spinner, of course, though not on MTB baits. See? Nice brownie. I think we found what they want. Unfortunately, it's not the MTB baits, and this is a bowl. And this is another one on a spinner. And he released himself. Nice. Ooh, and we got a rainbow. Nice fat rainbow. Another nice trout. Barely hooked. We're gonna let it go. Here's one.
So I'm gonna be heading to Brazil soon. But on Friday, I got my monthly subscription to my mystery tackle box in the mail, and I didn't do an actual unboxing of it, but I went and tested it out on my creek. And when I first tested it out, I put on this spoon and hooked into a trout, which I lost by bank right away on this spoon. And this is a Acme Tackle Phoebe. It must be some new spoon that Acme Tackle came out with. And I'm going to start giving my lures rating of 0 to 5, with 5 being best and 0 being worst, depending on how they work when I test them out from now on and when I get this box. So I'm going to give this lure a 4 out of 5 because the fish hit it on the first cast, and it has a pretty erratic action and spins around, whether you just twitch and pause it and glide it, or if you just reel it in. It has a pretty nice erratic action to it. And it worked. I had like 10 trout hit at it. I lost one by shore. I caught a brown on it. And it casted well. So it appeared to work well. And I was casting it on 6 or 8 pound monofilament. And it casted fine on both of them. This lure is a trail-a-bait fish lure. And it is very light. Here's the pack. It doesn't even say how much it weighs. It doesn't even say how much it weighs on the box, but I literally couldn't get it to cast 15 feet on a 5-foot ultralight with 6 pound monofilament, which made it really difficult to fish with and cast far. The first night when it may be dark in the footage, I hooked into a trout and lost it by bank. But the second day I used it, I couldn't get anything to hit at it. It has an okay twitch and pause action. It spins out on you pretty easy when you reel it in too fast, so it's pretty picky about the speed that it runs at. So this lure I'm going to be a little harsh on and give like a 1.75 out of 5 to, because it's pretty light and doesn't cast very well. Having a fish, like 4 or 5 fish hit at it, and losing one by bank brings up its rating a little bit. This is a cream lures paddle, and that lure is valued at $4. The Phoebe was valued at $3.49. This cream lures paddle tail shad is valued at $1.16, and it actioned fine for the twister tail. The trout had zero interest in this bright chartreuse color in my creek, especially when it's clear that browns just don't seem to like these really bright, flashy colors. Specifically, they don't seem to care for chartreuse. I don't know why. But it did work, and it spins well. I'll give this, the plastic feels pretty firm, and I'm sure this will work for like walleyes or crappies or something. We'll have to see how well it holds on the jigs. I'll give this plastic a 3.5 out of 5. These Kender's tungsten jigs I tested out. I got a gold and a silver jig in this box, and they value at $5.89, which is way more than I'm willing to spend for 2 jigs. But they did catch a chub when I drifted a worm on them, and they caught a trout and a chub when I drifted these Maida shrimp on them. And I don't know, the hooks seem to be pretty solid. They're a little flexible, and the body part is okay. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 for what they charge for it, because it has like a pretty flexible jig hook, but it's a pretty pricey jig. And another thing they sent me is the Lucky John Maida shrimp, and I just discovered looking in my car when I was moving this stuff around, in another month's box they sent these same Lucky John Maida shrimp, so they must be really trying to get us trout anglers to fish with shrimp, although there's not any shrimp in the creeks by me. They seem to hold up pretty decent, and I've caught chubs on them both times I tried them out, and I did catch a trout on them this time when I tried them out. So they appear to work. I might try these when I go to Rio in a few days for inshore saltwater too. But I will give these, let's feel how they feel. They're a little soft, but they're somewhat solid. Like, I think they'll be really good for crappies when they're jigging or something. So they definitely work. So I will give these a 3.5 out of 5. And the next thing they gave me in this box was this Road Runner Turbo Tail. I know this is a tried and true crappie technique. I was only able to get one stocker rainbow to hit it this right by me when I wasn't reeling it in, when I was like really aggressively fishing it in. So it's completely a reaction strike. So this may work for trout, because I've seen someone on other channels do well on stock rainbows with the underspin, but the Browns didn't seem very interested in it, and they definitely seemed interested in a spinner. So, like, I have nothing against this bait. Like, for trout fishing, it obviously didn't work very well for me, but I know this is a tried and true bait for crappies, and crappie fishermen love these. And the plastic seems pretty solid on it. The jig seemed to spin somewhat consistently. It wasn't perfect, though. I'll give this a 3.5 out of 5. And the last bait was a Rebel track down micro crayfish, which is actually on my other rod, and I don't have on me. And it was a crankbait with like one hook that came out of the back of it and bent over. And I tried it in the creek. I had like 3 or 4 trout hit at it that I didn't hook. Then I took it to the Wisconsin River, where I had like 5 little smallies hit at it, because I knew the smallies would hit at the little Rebel crayfish, and I've missed all 5 of them too. So it's only going to work well if a fish completely swallow the hook. It would work a lot better if it had 2 treble hooks like the standard Rebel crayfish, and it runs pretty high to the surface. I could only get it to run about a foot or foot and a half down on my 6-pound monofilament I was fishing with. And it only would cast like 15 or 20 feet, so it was really hard to get any diving depth out of it. So if you were in like a small creek and using it for smallies, I'm sure it would work eventually, but you'll probably have a pretty low hookup rate with it. And I know the little Rebel crayfish have worked well for me in the past, but my only complaint with them has been the hooks have been really wimpy on them and they break easy, and the bills sometimes will break. But otherwise, they work as good as a bait. Like if it was a regular Rebel crayfish, I would give it like a 3.5 or 4 out of 5. But because of the design of this track down Rebel micro crayfish, I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. And I'll attach the clips of the fish I caught on the MTB lures after this. So